Hi, I'm Rich Staats, and welcome to the second lesson in our change management course. In this one, we're going to talk about the purpose of change management. So what's the objective for this lesson? I want you to understand what the purpose of change management is and a little bit about what the scope of change management is. We're just going to talk about that a bit, but we're going to go into more detail in later lessons. So the first point is, if there's no reason to change, then there's no reason for change management. So why would organizations want to change? Change isn't always easy. Well, the main reason is our world's not a static place. It's complex, and there's a formal definition of complexity. And we're not going to go into the mathematically pure definition, but I'll say complexity means that there's many interdependent entities. In other words, they affect one another. Well, they're capable of independent action. And in this environment, volatile, uncertain, chaotic, ambiguous, you're not going to prosper if you remain static for too long. You can survive, but you're not necessarily going to prosper. So why would you change your organization then? Because you want to be more survivable, more resilient, and more agile. So what is change management then? Change management, it's a process that facilitates identifying, designing, and implementing appropriate change. And all three of those things are important. You want to pick the specific things that need to be changed. And those are things that need to be changed and can be changed, right? Then designing, that means you not only design the end organization and your processes, but how you're going to get from here to there. And then finally, implementing, the devil's in the details. Actually executing that change is going to involve a lot of soft skills as well as the scientific and engineering aspects to it. What's the purpose of change management then? Well, it's ensuring that organizations achieve their change management objectives effectively and efficiently. Efficiently means that you do it with the right amount of resources, not too many in particular. You want to do it with the minimum required resources. If you spend too few, though, oftentimes it results in an ineffective change. And effectiveness means, do you actually accomplish your objectives for this? Is your organization doing what you want it to do at the other end in a positive way? I have some closing thoughts. It's a relatively short class, but the first thought is, to be effective, change management has to be a holistic process, and you start that by identifying what's the appropriate change. Just because you can change doesn't mean you should change. Just because you can change doesn't mean you should change. So when you go into change management, you got to look at the whole process, start to finish. Don't try to do some engineering project halfway through. Really go all the way to the front and say, what are we trying to accomplish here? The best change management's data driven. So part of that's identifying what the appropriate metrics are, both for what you're supposed to be addressing. And what do we use for that? We use the pair 2, persistence, agility, information, reach, and range, right? And we look at effectiveness, measures effectiveness, but also we want to look at some process metrics that show how well you're doing at implementing the change. And those are things like, have I put sufficient resources against the change? How many people have bought into this process so far, etc. So, and we'll talk again about, we're doing a whole lesson on measurement later. Dave Garvin, of course, you remember that he's kind of my guru when it comes to change management. He says that change management is a product of three things. And when I say product, I mean a multiplication. And all these things go from 0 to 1. So having a really good, effective vision, that's either, it ranges, right? From 0, which is an ineffective vision or non-existent vision, to just an awe-inspiring, emotionally positive generating vision. And an effective plan about how you're going to get from here to there. 0 is no plan, or a very, very bad plan. 1 is excellent. And then finally, willingness to change. And if any one of those is 0, and we're multiplying these, then your probability of success is 0. What's the biggest issue that I see in organizations? Not having an effective vision, again, that's kind of step 0. They don't know where they're going. The famous philosopher Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you're going, you're likely to get there. Having a vision, very important. The other thing that it infects a lot of organizations is they're just simply unwilling to change. There's the social and organizational inertia that's going to prevent them from doing anything different. All right, just to look ahead, so we've talked about the purpose of change management. Our next class is going to be understanding your audience, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with that. We're going to talk about the 4 archetypes of senior managers. Look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day.